I think a lot about the question of if you are an artist or a producer or a presenting group and your mission is community-based, it seems to me that your option for supporting your work tends to be a nonprofit option that is non-sustainable. If your goal is to do community-based work, then you're sort of at this dichotomy, which I think we somewhat pointed to earlier, of like, well, I'm not in it to like make money. I'm in it for other reasons, and therefore I have to be nonprofit versus for-profit. I think that's a very false dichotomy that we're forced into. And I think oftentimes it just pits a lot of nonprofits against each other and forces people to be scrappy, angry nonprofits fighting for, lessening and lessening resources. On the other hand, if you're somebody who is community-based and you say, well, maybe I don't want to play that game and I'm going to be in a for-profit model, then there's a lot of opportunity, I think, potentially to redefine what for-profit means without it being a commercialized or capitalistic model that says, I'm going for something that is against community arts. I think you can potentially redefine that model and to try to enter into that system of presenting and sharing and diversifying sort of what I do as a cultural organizer, community presenter, artist. I think in this hybrid model that I'm interested in, there is more room for redefining what those things look like. And I do think it might be going away from what is the traditional 501c3 model that I think is largely funded by corporations that sort of shelter their profits through donations to philanthropic organizations. And so we're fighting for the crumbs, and it sort of boxes us into saying, all right, I'm going to spend so many hours as a nonprofit organization fighting for this $500 with, 100 organizations, and we're all writing our butts off trying to get that money, when instead maybe your time is better used in saying, well, what can I offer? Who can I partner with? How can I partner with a nonprofit organization? Or how can we create another type of dynamic that stands in between both worlds and potentially redefines those worlds? That's something that I'm interested in and trying to explore in the work that I do at the Clear Creek Festival in Kentucky and also in the Red Hook Festival in Brooklyn and sort of spaces in between.
I'm of the mind that the nonprofit model is actually unsustainable, and because what you just said, we can't keep going on where corporations basically, rape the environment or society, make all this money, and then start giving back to correct the problems that was created in this exploitive model.
I don't know any nonprofit that rides entirely on grant money. We all have to make actual cash. My company is not nonprofit for grant money, although we write grants. When we run out of money, we're done. But if we had to pay taxes on top of that, we would have been done 6 months earlier. So that's the big reason for it. And that's the only reason, by the way, nonprofits were ever created. Not for grant money, but for the taxes. That's really why. The for-profit model, because of the government's support of new businesses, you got 5 years in which you will get as much support or more than if you were a nonprofit. But my company is 36 or 37 years old. You see, that's not viable anymore unless we kill the company and create a new for-profit company. It may be in the future that they'll take away our tax advantage. We may all be, just operating for-profit. At which point we'll be on the gray market. The gray market is you take cash and you don't report it.
I'm all about the social enterprise model, where talk about the third bottom line, where you can balance out the social impact or the social return along with your financial return. Junebug pretty much runs on grant money. Our earned income is almost non-existent right now. At one point it was when John was touring a lot, and that's one of the reasons why we're creating the Free Southern Theater Institute. We're toying with the idea of making it a for-profit model, and we still may go that way at some point. We're definitely starting to explore that. Talking to lawyers about how that relationship would work with the Junebug's 501c3. We just don't know yet. the state of Louisiana, when Mitch Landrieu was lieutenant governor, created an Office of Social Enterprise at the lieutenant governor's level and created a lot of in-kind resources and created the Cultural Economy Initiative and started giving grants to for-profits and nonprofits that were dealing with the cultural economy, which is really still a little too much tourism-based. And when he did his little listening tour in New Orleans, he heard an earful from the nonprofits about the bias, and that was too much towards cultural tourism, not about art making in communities.